When you hear the sound of the bell, you know you're in the championship rounds with King Amin of Essex, and I'm here with my brother in boxing, Jay Hardcore, the man behind Hardcore Boxing News on Instagram, also Hardcore Boxing News on YouTube. He's got a lot of interviews, a lot of good content. I just saw him interviewing Bernard Hopkins, Calvin Ford. Tell the people where they can find you very quick, brother.
Hey, yeah, this is Jay Hardcore Boxing News, and you can grab me up on Instagram at Hardcore Boxing News 51, or you can hit us on YouTube at Hardcore Boxing News. You know it's us because you find the bulldog with the boxing gloves on.
Now let's talk a little bit about. I always like for you to share your experience. You were at the press conference for Tank and Ryan. Tell us about that experience right quick.
Oh man, it was a great experience, man. And Calvin Ford blessed me to be in the back. You know what I mean? So I'm back there where the champ be at and everything. And they laid it out, food, drinks, everything, you know. And when I say drink, soda, you know, water, stuff like that. You know what I mean? And
Hospitality.
hospitality, yeah, complimentary, you know, and back there with all the undercard people as well. So I was able to get all the exclusive interviews and everything. And just seeing how things work from behind the scene, behind the curtain, you know, and see how all that worked. And it was a beautiful experience.
Be sure to check out this man's content so he can bring you some of the images and some of the sound bites from that beautiful experience. And we're going to recap today last week's experience, or this week, or we had this big fight, much anticipated, even though the guys we wanted to see. Tim Tszyu made a huge announcement. He asked everybody, what's his motherfucking name? Tim Tszyu, right? So listen, what do you think, man? What do you think of Tim Tszyu and what he did over the weekend?
Well, I called it. I said that I felt though that he was going to win that fight. You know what I mean? So I got one right once in a while. And yeah, man, I liked it. You know, I felt though that and he called it. He said in round 9 he was going to stop him. And he stopped him in round 9. I mean, he really put the press on him on round 9. What I did not like is the referee. I felt though that the referee allowed Harrison to receive way too much punishment. He was already on drunken legs, and he was not fighting back. He wasn't holding. He wasn't able to protect himself. And the referee allowed Tszyu to continue on battering him. So, you know, that man only has one job in that ring, and that's to protect the fighter. And he didn't do it.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of, just people that understand that these fighters already risking so much for the referee to be kind of careless, to he should have stepped in there, and I think I only heard a few people that I don't know what their deal is. They thought that he should have gotten another opportunity, but nah, man, I think, yeah, ridiculous. Nah, it was a good stoppage. Should have been a little bit earlier, but Tony Harrison don't lose nothing. Gains a lot of respect. Kind of, he fell ass backwards, as the expression goes, into that fight. It wasn't meant for him. So, whatever he did, salute to him. I just hope that he got whatever he needed, like that itch is scratched and he don't want no more. Continue to train, continue to contribute in other ways to the sport, man, for real.
Yeah, exactly. And for those people that felt though that it should have went further, in the famous words of Roger Mayweather, you don't know shit about boxing.
Tell him that. Now, this whole fight, because we expected that before we even go there, is Tszyu getting Jermell Charlo right away, or does he have to, go down a murderer's row, if you will, to get that fight? Or it should be this the next?
It should be the next one. Actually, it would have been Charlo on this one if Charlo didn't hurt his hand. So Charlo hurt his hand, and since he hurt his hand, then Harrison stepped in. So the next fight, if everything goes correct in the world of boxing, he's supposed to be fighting Charlo next.
Let's hope that happens. Very exciting fight. Yeah. Keep him crossed, man. Did you get a chance to see Diego Pacheco at all this weekend?
I didn't
Okay.
catch that one. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny because one thing about it, he had a good performance. Body shot. I think it was a ninth round stoppage as well. But Tim Tszyu, man, just stole the weekend, man. I think he made a hell of an impression. I said as much on the Boxing Voice, man. It's giving me slight Triple G vibes. And as much as I tease Triple G, when he first came out, he was a very fearsome fighter. Now, Triple G was definitely a lot more ferocious and seek and destroy, but just the power, what you hear about the power and what you see the power can do, especially as it carries late, does remind me a lot of old lasagna, as I call him.
Yeah, and another thing, man, you got to keep in mind the apple don't fall too far from the tree. The
Sure.
Costa Tszyu is Tim Tszyu dad. And if you can go back and remember what he did to Zab Judah, man, I mean, that's a classic fight, man. And he put them hands on Zab Judah, and Zab mind wanted to keep on going, but his body was on the other side of town, man. And
It's
and it looks like he got it from his daddy.
absolutely, absolutely, definitely. Looking forward to see what this young man does in the future. So let's look at the future. We got a heavy schedule of fights, so let's try to run through it. And I kind of titled this one, I think there's more answers than questions. I'm not going to have a whole lot of questions about these fights, especially after they're over. Let's start with Plant Benavidez. What are your thoughts on that fight and who you got?
Wow, I love that fight, and I can't wait for it to actually happen. What I love about this fight is that you got the brawler against the technician. You know what I mean? And that's always a good fight, And the good thing about it is that Plant's coming off a devastating win, a knockout, the shovel win. You know what I'm saying? As we say it. So it makes it even more interesting. But then you got the Mexican monster, as Mike Tyson would say, that's young, strong, and hungry. And, they got a grudge match as well. They really don't like each other. Not for the cameras.
Yeah.
They just don't like each other. They done bang heads before. Camps have banged heads and everything. And when I look at this fight, I say this is a 50-50 fight. You know what I mean? Plant can win this fight. Benavidez can win this fight. It's going to be whoever wants it the most and whoever makes the least mistakes is going to be the one that wins this particular fight. Now, if I had to put my hefty, hard-earned $1 onto this fight, I'm going to go with the young man. I'm going to go with Benavidez because I always say it's a young man's sport. Not to say that Plant's an old man, but I like the engine that the kid has on him. He's relentless. He's always coming forward. He's not taking no for an answer, And I just feel as though when it all is said and done, his hands will be raised.
You're giving me some things to think about, man. I don't know if I've been leaning towards Plant or I've been expecting Plant's ability.
But that's just how I feel today.
No.
Tomorrow it might be Plant for me. I'm telling you, I've been back and forth.
But this is why I said it's going to be more answers than questions because whichever one of us is right, we're going to know after March 25th. Now, I had been leaning because I'm biased. I like boxers, and I'm not saying that Benavidez can't, but I like that, right? But, and I'm hoping that with the shovel win, such a, how do they call like a signature win, if you will, Plant is doing all this shit with the domain and the action figures. He seems really, really, really focused on making sure he does not only everything in the ring, outside the ring to get into Benavidez's head. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's not going to work, but I'm just giving Plant the slight championship advantage having been in. I like, what I call the rub. When you've been in there with a championship caliber fighter, somebody like you can't do nothing but learn from it. Or, this will be his undoing because, and I said as much a week ago, or maybe a couple of days ago, Jose Benavidez Jr., his whole squad is doing great. He had Junior and Creed, right? He had Pacheco making a great performance out in the UK, who some of us missed over here, but still that impression over there is an amazing thing, an amazing opportunity. And now David gets this opportunity to beat a guy like Caleb Plant, former world champion. I love what's happening in boxing right now, man.
If you're a hardcore, you definitely are going to be in for a treat.
Well, we talked a little bit about it, your experience at the press conference. Now I think we need to talk about the fighters and some of the particulars. I'm talking about Tank and Ryan. A lot of speculation, a lot of talk about hydration clauses, purses and things of that nature. But when it really comes down to it, man, is Ryan a live dog in this fight, or is that just the people that want to see Tank lose?
Nah, Ryan's a live dog. You know what I mean? For one, he has what they call a puncher's chance. He can punch. He's fast. He's tall. You know what I mean? So he has those physical attributes that are actually going to help him in this fight. How much it's going to help him, we don't know. But you got Tank is what we call a complete fighter, meaning that he has all the intangibles that's going to actually, no matter what you bring to him, he done seen it before. He's been against taller fighters. He's been against fighters that can hit hard. I don't think he's been in there with anybody as fast as Ryan. I don't think so. But I'm not one of those guys that says that Tank is just going to walk over Ryan. I don't believe that whatsoever. I'm gonna be truthfully honest. I see it as typical Tank fight, meaning that Tank probably will be losing the first few rounds because Tank takes his time. He downloads information like Bud Crawford. He wants to see if what your punch is like. He wants to see, what your timing looks like. He wants to see your distance. He wants to see your range. He wants to see all that. He downloads all that information. And then most important thing that Tank does is Tank sets you up. You know what I mean? So if he can do all those things that he normally does, I see it happening like it always does. I'm thinking 9th round, 10th round, stoppage. That's how I see it.
And a lot of, what I've come to see or what I think about this fight, Ryan Garcia, physically, again, the attributes are different. He has the speed and, he's going to have to use the height without fighting like a tall fighter, because, he could get caught with his chin, down a little bit, certain things. He's going to have to try to use his speed, but ultimately you pointed out, and this is a name that people need to remember. Tank kind of been here before with the physical difference with Mario Barrios. So that's not really the issue. Like, he's not worried about that. The speed is the thing he has to be concerned about and making sure or seeing how consistent Ryan is going to be with his timing. So as Tank getting in there, he's catching Ryan's shots and figuring out which ones got spice, which ones don't. Over the 4th, 5th round, all right, this dude, not only the punches don't have the same, leather and wind on them, he keep dipping down. So I'm going to catch him. And Ryan may get caught, between the 5th or the 9th, I think, and that's an early prediction. That could change. Something could change. But, the outcome, we're going to have this one answered. There ain't going to be no question, right?
No. And you know what else I like about this is, can Ryan withstand the big lights? He's never been in a fight of this magnitude. Tank has. You know what? Mayweather used to always say it. You know what I mean? Can you handle the lights? You know what I mean? Can you handle the crowd? Everybody going crazy. All the people pulling you back and forth trying to get interviews and all that comes across being a big fight. I'm gonna be truthfully honest. At that press conference in New York, I felt though that Ryan was unraveling a little bit. He was totally upset when he realized that Tank was so late. You know what I mean? And he was just crying about that so much. And I was like, I was saying it to my guy Senior on the Rise podcast. I was like, if he can't handle this little bit of pressure, he gonna be in trouble because the antics are coming, man. So I know he has issues in his mentals sometimes. I just wonder, is he gonna be able to withstand all the mental pressure that's gonna come with this huge, gargantuous fight?
Definitely. And I could see Tank doing something slick, like, Jake Paul even tried it. You make your opponent wait in the dressing room. You make your opponent wait in the ring while you in the dressing room, let his body get cold a little bit. The games will be played, and Ryan better be ready. Another fight that's on the hardcore's radar is this Stephen Fulton and Inoue fight, brother. This one is big. Inoue stepping up, moving up a division to challenge Fulton. A lot of people they're picking Fulton, and I don't know. Inoue, I respect his power, I respect his skill, but there's some things that I don't know if he can do. But what do you think about this fight in general?
I love this fight. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know which one I like the most, Plant Benavidez or Inoue Fulton. Excuse me. But a lot of us are saying Fulton, but there's a lot talking about the monster as well. So I think that the boxer community is divided straight down the middle on this one. You know what I mean? Because the monster's the monster, bottom line. But then you got the slick Philly fighter, you know what I mean? That one thing about Cool Boy Steph or Scooter, however you want to handle it, he know how to win. Yeah. No matter what, he knows how to win. And on one of my interviews, I said that Inoue has never been in with a black fighter. And I got a lot of backlash about that. And when I said that, it wasn't about race. It had nothing to do about race. Actually, I was repeating what Inoue said. He said he's never been in a fight with sparring or fighting a black fighter, which is so true. And when we say that, I'm saying this: a slick fighter like himself. Fulton's slick. The way he moves, the rhythm, all that is different. That's when I say black fighter. It's the same reason why Canelo doesn't like fighting black fighters. We move a little bit different. It has nothing to do with I feel though that our race is superior over the other races. That has nothing to do with it. You just move a little bit different, a little bit slicker. We're not straight up and down like the European fighters he's been fighting thus far. That's all I'm saying.
And it's no different than characterizing a fighter. You use that when, if you said, yo, you fighting a European fighter, he said, expect him to be in the high guard. If you said, I'm fighting a Mexican fighter, expect it to be a pressure fighter that's going to come forward and go to the body.
No different.
These are characterizations, man. And it almost reminds me, cats that tell you, say, I ain't never had no Asian kitty cat. I ain't never had no white kitty cat. And they tell you it's all the same. They ain't never had no, it's all different. Every scenario, every situation is slightly different. And in that fight, though, I'm thinking, so one of the differences for Inoue is I got one question I do have. Does the power travel when he's moving up? Maybe he's more comfortable, maybe not, right? The one thing, he's going to have to be consistent in that pressure. He's going to try to pressure Fulton, and Fulton's going to have to be moving and kind of catch and counter. And we're going to see if those guys, it's going to be like really like a physical, literal chess match.
Chess match, yes.
You can see that one happening in the middle of the ring, except when Fulton may decide to roll in and out. If he's feeling really good, I could see him bouncing off the ropes, rolling in and out. You know what I'm saying? Catching and countering.
And I'm going to tell you, man, when it comes to weight, they're going to 118 up to 122?
Yeah.
That's not no big difference.
Sure.
If anything, that helps Inoue The reason why that helps Inoue, because he's not cutting down to 118. So those little extra pounds, those extra 4 pounds, probably will help Inoue a little bit. Who's going to be the bigger man in that ring that night? It's going to be Fulton, for sure. He's going to be the bigger man. But I don't think those 4 pounds is going to make a big difference of him coming up. And like I said, I think it might be even more of an advantage for him because he doesn't have to cut down to that 118. So he might be a little bit more energetic, you know what I mean? A little bit more powerful. Who knows? But I think I'm a kind of biased on this one, but I'm looking for Fulton to win by split decision. That's where I have that. But
it's in Japan. They're in Yokohama with it.
Exactly. And put it this way. If you asked me to put my money on it, I would not.
Well, you can put your money on it that Cinco de Mayo weekend, which is when this fight happens. It's going to be fireworks. Nothing but excitement. All right. Now, we got another fight that has been announced. I don't know if you guys are paying attention. It's been long awaited. We finally are. Devin had to go down under, reach in the damn kangaroo's pouch and snatch the motherfucking Joey out to go get his belts. Now he's finally back and he gets to step in against Vasiliy Lomachenko. We got that fight coming up May 20th, champ. It's finally happened. What do you think? Answers. No more questions. This one, we got answers.
Yeah, we got it. You know what I mean? And if it was left to Bob Arum, he would definitely want Lomachenko to win this fight because Lomachenko is a long-term top-ranked fighter. And Devin Haney, this is his last fight based on contract.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, you know, Bob Arum would love for that fight to for Loma to win this fight and keep that belt on the top ranked side. Now, one thing about this particular fight is I feel though that Loma is a little long in the tooth now and he's getting a little bit older. I feel though that Haney is way too big for him. And I think that's in Loma's mind because that was the first thing he said when Jermaine Ortiz, when he beat the fight against Jermaine Ortiz and Devin came in the ring and he looked at Devin and he was like, damn, is he a light heavyweight or heavyweight? I can't remember exactly what he said. So, but that was the first thing that came in his mind, you know what I mean? So I'm pretty much sure that that seed has grown roots since then, you know, and he's worrying about that, this big old boy that is technically sound and has a beautiful jab. How is he gonna, you know, actually win this fight? And I'm be truthfully honest, when we go back to that Jermaine Ortiz fight, if Ortiz continued on 10th, 11th, and 12th, you know what I mean? Because it seemed like he pulled the foot off the gas. Yeah. If he had kept that foot on the gas, I feel though that he would have beat Loma that night. You know, so if to be truthfully honest, I don't see Loma winning this fight whatsoever. They're trying everything. Devin Haney wanted this fight to happen in March because of Ramadan, you know, but they made sure that the fight happened right after Ramadan. So that means that he has to train through Ramadan. If anybody knows anything about Ramadan, that means that from sun up to sundown, you can't eat. But yet this guy still has to train, and to train, you need food in your body. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way that you're going to be able to, you know, perform correctly. For the fire. Exactly. Absolutely. A car can't run without gas. So they know what they're doing. You know, they made sure that this fight happened right after Ramadan. You know what I mean? So that just shows you that top ranks trying to do everything they can to keep that belt at home.
And they've been trying to do that. And what Devin Haney has shown that it ain't happening. So, and I agree with you. The same sentiments, the size, the skill, the will. He's not letting that happen. Now, will it be an entertaining fight? Will it be exciting? Sure. Always. Because, you know, the technical aspects, the nuances, it's going to be beautiful to watch, but it's going to be more beautiful in the aftermath when Devin Haney takes his walking papers and we see what other opportunities lie ahead. So not putting him too far out ahead of this fight, but definitely, May 20th. Like, again, we got so many fights. Now, May 20th, too, what's happening is, Katie Taylor versus Chantelle Cameron is that weekend. So sneak a little bit of women's boxing in there. Now, what do you think about that one?
I like that, man. You got two undisputed champions about to fight each other. One thing about the women, man, they put it on the line, man. And that's what I love about them. They bang it out, you know, and they have to risk more because they don't get the blessings like the men fighters get, you know what I mean? So when they get in there, it's like always for it's just
significant, something significant each and every time.
Exactly, you know what I mean? So, and hats off to them ladies, man. You got two undisputed fighters fighting each other. You know what I mean? Two champions, you know. This doesn't happen whatsoever. Actually, I don't remember the last time two undisputed fighters fighting each other.
Nah, I can't remember.
I can't think of one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hats off to these ladies, man.
Absolutely. And I think on that undercard, they're working on Terry Harper versus Cecilia Brækhus. So they're stacking it. They're stacking it, you know.
Nice. Women boxing is coming on. I mean, I want to see Clarissa Shields and Shadasia Green now, you know.
Well, you know something, I've been calling Shadasia Green the 50 Cent of boxing, man, because, you know, she came out, she showed up and just really made an impact with the way she won. Now, you know, it could go that way with Clarissa Shields. She also, you know, wants business with Mrs. Cruz Dezern. You know, Shadasia want that smoke, and unfortunately, I hope in her situation doesn't fall the way of men's boxing, where fighters seem to be preoccupied with things that don't matter, because we're hearing that Mrs. Cruz Dezern is more interested in a fight with Hannah Gabriels for the light heavyweight title, which makes sense, you know, two division champion. But you know, the women are known for stepping to each other when somebody steps up. So, you know, I'd like to see Shadasia get her shot against somebody, you know. Could be, and listen, Clarissa, the schedule might be free because Natasha Jonas apparently turned down that fight, right? That would have been undisputed versus undisputed, or unified versus undisputed. So, I mean, you know, somebody give Shadasia Green a shot, man.
Somebody give her a shot.
For sure, for sure. Now, speaking of this weekend, someone else that's long in the tooth, he's got a shot. I'm talking about Jean Pascal. He's in there against Michael Ifrit. They out in Quebec, Montreal, Canada. Title eliminator, man. You think he still got some tread on him?
Man, you never know with Jean Pascal, man. I mean, he been upsetting people lately, you know. But this time I'm gonna go with the German kid, man. I'm gonna go with this kid, 25 years old. You got Jean Pascal, I think he's 40. You know what I mean? That's a big age difference, you know. So just on that alone, you know, I'm going with the young man on this one, man. I just feel though that eventually that clock, you just can't beat Father Time, man. And I feel though that Father Time is going to show up this weekend.
Well, I'm hoping Jean Pascal shows me something that he's still got a little bit something left in the tank, because I'm hoping that if the German brother, what happens with those divisions, light heavyweight and cruiserweight, those guys get those titles and we got to chase them to Germany and Europe to find them. At least true. Pascal is over here in Canada, and he might give my guy Atif O'Burlton, Lord Pretty Calvo, a light heavyweight, move from prospect, now he's a contender. Give that man a shot. They're familiar with each other, and I think Pascal is honorable enough to do that. Other homie might take the strap and run with it respectfully. I get it. You might have more fights to market over there, but we need that belt over here, or at least to see if somebody from over here can rock that right. You know, give us a shot.
No doubt, no doubt. And one thing about that punch, that's the last thing to go when you get old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Pascal always has that puncher's chance for sure.
And also on that card, more women's boxing. You got Jessica JCobra Camara on there. Just want to give her a shout out. She's in there against Prisha V. Scott. JCobra, her biggest win of note has been over Heather the Heat Hardy. That's a big name, big scalp right there. And she'll probably be contending for a title pretty soon because that's what they do in the women's boxing. So I'm be sure to have my eye on this one. Also, this weekend we got Zurdo Ramirez, champ. Him and
Yo, you know that lady Vicot, man? She's 47.
oh,
And she's 47 years old, man.
I wonder what she got going on. She must love boxing, huh?
I don't need the money, one or the other.
I don't know how to call it, man. I hope a woman don't be in need of money that bad that she don't got. Good Lord, man. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to see if I can get her right, man. I may have a job for her.
Yeah. Moving on.
Nah, man. I've opened up the gym or something, chat. Zurdo and Rosado, man. Who you like in this one?
I'm gonna go with Zurdo, man. He has something to prove, man. And Gabe Rosado, I feel though he's at the twilight of his career at this particular time. He always gives us a good fight for sure. But I think Zurdo's going to be too big for him. I feel, though, that he's going to overpower him, and I feel, though, that Zurdo stops him, actually.
I don't like this fight for Gabe Rosado. I don't think Gabe Rosado needs the money. I just think his heart is too big.
Yeah, 100%.
Zurdo is too big for him as well. He's going to, try to get some get back from him after that loss to Bivol. So, I know this is a feel-good fight for Zurdo to feel good about what could be on the other side of light heavyweight. Who knows, man? I don't know, man. Again, another guy just in name recognition. Holla at Atif. I know Oscar and them may or may not do that, but Jarrell Miller, a guy that we haven't seen in a long time. I spoke on him in a way that I'm glad he's getting the opportunity, no matter what you thought about him before, no matter what he did. I think, everybody deserves a chance to, for contrition and to get their shit back, to do it over again. He's fighting out in Dubai, but he's fighting against Lucas Brown of Australia. What do you think, champ?
I think Jarrell Miller wins this particular fight. I believe in second chances, but this is his third, fourth, fifth. I don't know how many chances this is for him. You know what I mean? Because he's been back to back PEDs. But if they approved it, let's keep it moving, man. I've always liked Big Baby Miller, man. Sure. So much success to him. I think he wins this particular fight. I think that he's hungry as hell. He's by now should have learned by all his mistakes. And he blew the biggest bag ever. So I feel though that he should have learned from all that. He's always had a good engine on him, but now we don't know if that engine was just because of the PEDs, or I guess we'll answer a lot of questions coming up this weekend.
Questions and answers, man. And that's why we titled it this. Thank you for joining me, my brother. Let the people know one more time where they can find you.
All right, this is Jay Hardcore, Hardcore Boxing News. Please check me out on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you subscribe to my brother right now. If you're listening right now, and if you're watching us right now, hit the subscribe button, like it, share it, tell somebody about us, man. And you can also find me on Instagram as well, Hardcore Boxing News 51.
It's a family affair over here in the championship rounds. Glad to have you over here, big bro. Much success to you. We grinded behind the scenes. I'm going to catch up with you. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Drop a like, drop a comment, check us out. Boxing saves lives. I'm so glad y'all here with me, but I'm out of here. We going.
Peace.
Peace.